Today's interview is with Martynas Fedotovas. Butchered his name, I'm sorry, Martynas, but I gave it a good go. Fantastic interview today. Martynas came from Lithuania, now lives in Ireland. He talks about a lot of cool stuff today. He talks about some mindset stuff and how he was driven and what drove him, and how he was always open and looking for opportunity. This landed him in digital marketing. He eventually ended up in digital marketing, and he shares some tips today. So if you want some tips about how to improve your digital marketing, today's the episode for you. As always, like and subscribe on the YouTube channel, Wrestling with Real Estate. Go to the WWRE Podcast and give me a 5-star rating and write me a review if you think it's worthy. As always, I'm looking to speak to as many of you as possible. If you're interested in real estate, in whatever capacity, right? If you're interested in doing deals, if you're interested in learning more, whatever it is, if you're just starting out, I would love to speak to you. I can talk about real estate all day. So there's a link in the description below that you can reach out to me, and we can talk about real estate, or you can go to wrestlingwithrealestate.com and sign up. There's a link there. So enjoy today's interview. We covered a lot of great stuff, but more than anything, if you can take away stuff about social media, I think it will help you. So enjoy today's interview with Martynas. Hello and welcome to Wrestling with Real Estate, where we look to chokeslam all your real estate problems. I'm your host, former WWE wrestler and now Cirque du Soleil performer, and of course, multifamily real estate investor, Barri Griffiths. Now today we have Martynas on the line, on the call with us today. Did I butcher your name or did I get it kind of right?
You just got it perfect.
What do the Irish call you? Do they have a nickname for you?
Marty. So the American people call me Marty, or people in Ireland usually call me Martin.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for being on here today. I was on your show last week, I think. It was a really fun interview. So it's nice to change roles, right? It's good to sometimes be sitting in that other seat. So I'm excited for this call. But before we do, I always like to ask my guests 4 fun questions. So here we go. First one is, if you could visit any planet, which one would it be?
Oh, definitely Mars. I would like to be the first ones who will go there. So
very cool. Would you do the SpaceX thing where you go, or whatever it's called, where you live on Mars?
I do trust on Elon Musk, so I guess I would go with him.
Okay. What's your favorite color?
Blue.
What's your favorite movie?
The first thing that popped in my head was like Scarface, kind of like a classic, even though I don't know why it popped up. But
No, brilliant movie. If you could choose any superpower, what would it be?
That's a good one. So I guess just getting the altitude, just like flying probably.
Yeah.
Because, like what's happening right now in the economy, you would like to maybe sometimes just get altitude and from all the kind of BS, sometimes.
Get away from anything and just fly away. That would be cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks for doing that. That was just a bit of fun. So now, before we dive into the conversation, which I'm excited to do you want to tell us a little bit about your background and kind of what your focus is right now?
Oh, sure. So where did we start? I mean, because there's a lot that currently going on, but if we just focus on the social media part. So basically, I don't know, do you want to like the entire story, or do you want to just
go for it. Yeah, we got plenty of time. We're going to go for 3 hours anyway, right?
I know, it's not like my show that we had like 40-50 minutes. It's like going to be 1.5 hours. Yeah, but again, just the background taken, like born and raised in Lithuania. So kind of very small place called Šiauliai. So it's kind of north city in Lithuania, in the country. And I mean, just kind of bad memories from there, because it's nothing kind of going on, and at that time when I was growing up, it was kind of rough. And we used to live in a very rough area, which like a lot of people still know about. There's a specific name. It's called kind of, well, in Lithuanian, it's always a little bit different. But kind of, like just growing up usually, like no father, just mom, and she like worked as much as she could, and she provided as much as she could at that time, I guess. She, of course, she said she could did, something different in life, which I was I thought she would follow something and do something great with her life, but that's her story. But but I knew that I could do something. Again, like she taught me a few good lessons, and I thought that was great. So I kind of I always knew like there's something more to what it is available, because personally I never finished the high school, just 9 grades only, and I kind of like hated it. I was like this rebel, like a small rebel. I wasn't like one of the kids that like I was like against the system, like no. But I was like, it's not for me, because it doesn't make any sense, and it was like I didn't like it, like majority of the kids that go to school. And I hope now they enjoy the school more when they can just jump on a Zoom and do this thing. But I was just looking for something. Just something different. So I thought probably it's going to be the music industry, because I always liked the music, and like I thought maybe producing something, well, not myself, but maybe kind of being a producer for the artists or something in that nature. So I kind of followed a few things here and there. In Lithuania, I had some friends who produce music, so I thought maybe we can do something with them. That turned out to be a really good place to be in, because I didn't have the right skills to do that type of work. But again, the vision for something, still I had no clue what I was looking for. I was kind of lost, but I was kind of grabbing on whatever was available, And then the first things I remember, I traveled to Ireland. So I came to Ireland, and I remember I started to work at this place, which was kind of funny. And maybe this guy is still watching this interview right now, because he put me basically on a different planet, completely. Because what I mean, this guy, he used to work with me, in the job. And one day he called me and he was like, Martynas, do you want to grab just a tea or coffee after work? And that was a little bit strange, because we never spoke at work. So we're like, sure, okay. And we met after work, and I remember there was coworker and some guy that I never met before. And these people were like, okay, so sit down, let's talk. And we were talking. I remember they started shifting towards, we're going to show you some presentation. And I was like, okay, I'm still looking, so I don't care, like, show me something. And they started showing something, and there was some streams and the water and the buckets, and it's just a weird thing, and I didn't get it, But I remember one thing, like this older type of guy, who was sitting there, I guess it was at that time, I didn't know, but it was his business partner. He stood up and he was like, do you want to grab a coffee? I was like, sure, and we went to the coffee, to the, where the lady was standing, at the counter. And he just was talking so nicely to her, like, hey, like, Elizabeth, let's say, her name, saying the name and talking nicely. And I was looking at him with this, face, this expression. It was like, he ordered the coffee. He was like, what do you want? It was like, oh, just a juice, And after, when we went back, I was like, do you know this girl? Like, it was like friends. She was like, no, I've never met the girl. And I was like, wow, what's happening here? Because I was coming from this environment where it's like super negative. I mean, there's a lot of crime going on, and I was growing up in this environment where it's very negative. And I'm like, wow, this man is paying so much attention to the person that he never met before. So that kind of shifted my mind a little bit, at that time. And again, the plan didn't understood a clue what was going on. But when they said, listen, do you want to go to this event, to the seminar, and you're going to be joining in and then I found out it's a multi-level networking company, basically. Yeah. I was like, yeah, but I didn't have a clue what was going on. Like, I didn't know what was the plan all about. I just saw the buckets and the water. So, but I said yes, because I was looking. Mm-hmm. And that's, again, the key right now for the people. That will be kind of message, like I was kind of, dumb. I was like, I didn't have any skills. Like there was nothing, but I was looking for opportunities. And during these times, I mean, there's a lot of people who should be opening their eyes. And of course, there's a lot of, BS going on, and you have to be careful of what people you're approaching, but people should be looking, and people should be grabbing opportunities, whatever comes in. Because of that event, everything else that's happening in my life currently happened, because I decided to grab this opportunity, which I had no clue what that was. So I was in this business for probably almost 4 years, which was the greatest years ever. So again, I hope the guys is watching, because I thank them probably 1,000 times over. because he taught me all the principles. We're talking about prospecting, cold calling, networking, being in front of the people, speaking on stage, like just different things that I never thought it could be possible to learn. And then he opened up, my mind to books and events, and like people talking about Rich Dad Poor Dad. That wasn't my first book. The first book it was by Robert Kiyosaki was the Cash Flow Quadrant, which I never knew you can be. You can have 4 choices, which is you can be an employee, self-employed, business owner, or have a big business like on a network. Because the biggest businesses in the world are the networks, which is like the electricity network, mobile network, Facebook, which is a network, Amazon, they're building a network. So everything is a network, right? And I was like, wow, there are some choices. I don't have to be a music producer, anymore. So that was really cool. Like the 4 best years ever. So anybody who's watching, you kind of don't have a clue what to do in life. Maybe you're young as I was at the time. You want to start something, network marketing, definitely, because it provides a great kind of skill base to gain some skills. That was it. So after, again, like changed many jobs, because I was working at that time, because, multi-level marketing is a tough thing to do. You're still working full time, you're prospecting people, you're showing the business plans, you're doing the whole bit. Definitely tough, but again, getting the skill set just in place, just doing that. So then I started working as a realtor. I was like, well, I need to use those skills maybe somewhere else. It doesn't make sense to work in a small factory, even though I was working in an office, but I was like, I need to try the skill set and see how it's going to apply in the real world, because I have the phone skills, I can prospect. So I worked as a broker for a small firm also, which was super fun. And there's a completely different story to that, how I get involved. But always after that, I was just like, whatever comes my way, I'm just going to grab it because I'm young. I just want to try things out. I need more skills, because that's one of the things that people and nobody will take away from you. I mean, of course, you're going to waste maybe some time, because you're going to make mistakes. You don't know what you're doing because you're testing the water out. You're grabbing this, grabbing that, and maybe there's no mentor, which is, again, another additional piece to, becoming successful in business or life, is having one, which I had some at the time in this networking business, but probably I should have more people get involved, and probably I wouldn't waste it a lot of time. But still, it was a great experience, because real estate is something, again, like exactly what you're doing. You're playing at a big game in a big scale, by investing in multifamily deals. It was just something that, grabbed my attention. It was like, man, this is something interesting. So, but I never knew there's another world existing, which is investing in real estate. I thought it's all about, making sales happen and, just getting that done. So, and then I started one business venture, which was actually kind of advising people, advisory business, which, again, I had no interest. Like, I had some interest, like I wanted to do that, but then through, again, and that's going to all tie in basically into the YouTube channel that I have currently. I started to do some YouTube stuff, just the interviews, because, again, like I wanted to hire some people, but like it doesn't make sense for me to pay $20,000 at the time for somebody to coach me. What about if I'm going to get somebody on my show? I can pick their brain, still going to provide valuable content for the people who are going to be watching the show, and I'm going to learn something at the same time. So, and I came across this guy whose name is Greg, and I'm sure he's going to be watching. Again, we're not in a relationship anymore, and again, that happens in business because you just overgrow one another, or different reasons, and you just separate. But super great guy, and that guy told me one thing. He was like, and I like the fact, and again, I like the people who are telling things up front, because look, life is short, long. I don't know. Everybody has a different journey, and there's a different time for everybody. But he was He was like, Martin, the thing that you're doing, it's a completely BS. You don't need to do that. And I was like, okay, so what do you mean? What do I need to do? He was like, look, because again, we spoke with him. He saw my what I did for the YouTube, like Facebook, Instagram, like I had all the channels going. And he was like, man, you should do the kind of design marketing thing, And I was like, what do you mean? So what is that? So basically you should provide service, for business when it comes to, promoting them on social media. Because he said, you're great at it. And you have the skills, the design pieces look perfect. I mean, you're spot on. So I was like, okay. And he said, but you can narrow it down and provide that for real estate industry. And he said, there's actually no people who are providing that at the time. And that was probably, I think about two plus years ago, almost 3 years ago. And it was like, wow, okay. So, and he kind of coached me. So I provided him a free service, you know, and he coached me at the time because he charges same like 25, 30,000 right now also, I think. And he was like, you should provide the service for real estate people. So, and the thing that I did, because he taught me one thing, he was like, whatever I'm telling you or whatever you're doing in life, do it now. Because he said, I don't have a calendar with a to-do list. He said, that's not my thing. He had this kind of, you know, military type approach. And he was like, if you have something, do it right now. You know, and it was like, okay, so I'm on the phone with him, you know, on a messenger. We were talking via Facebook, and he said, listen, you need to do this. It's going to be for multifamily or real estate businesses. You need to do it. I was like, it's done, because that's the way he taught me to say done. I was okay. So I remember I was sitting, and probably in 2 hours, whatever I had going on with this consulting, I recreated and basically rebranded everything. And it was probably in 2 hours, like the Equity Nest, the social media company, was born.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a cool.
So that's kind of all over the place, but you know, just a few kind of sneak peeks.
Really interesting. Yeah. You know what I got from that, the biggest thing is that how much desire and how much openness you had for stuff to come along, right? Because most people, they want to be successful, they want to have money, and they want to have this, that, or the other, right? But they're not necessarily open for it. Like you said, you were just looking, right? I think that's key to it, right? It wasn't that you were doing anything amazing. It was that you were open to opportunities, and you were looking for chances to better your life and be something and make something of yourself. And I think that's a lesson for everyone. If you have that openness, right, and wherever you go, you're open and you're looking for opportunities, you're going to find it, right? If you're not looking, how are you going to find it? It's not going to smack you in the face, right? There's not a tree where that you can just pick off these opportunities, right? For the most part, right? You've got
to, because if you're not going to look, like I'll tell you very simple, if you're not going to look, the problem's going to smack you in the face.
The problem,
if you're gonna stay still, because we as people, like, just a little bit of a mindset piece, you know, we as people, we do two things. We either moving forward to our goals that we need to set and we need to have, and we're moving forward to that and we're getting excited about it and we're doing that, or we either staying still and waiting until the problem is going to move us. So, and most of the time, you know, like, people choosing the second option. They just wait, and the problems will come in, and oh my God, I have to do something. So yeah, just doing something, you know, just moving forward. Because sometimes maybe it doesn't make, you know, sense. Because at the time I did a lot of stuff that at that time I thought it doesn't make any sense. But, you know, like, I think Steve Jobs, you know, rest in peace, he said, like, you're just going to connect the dots when you're going to be looking, you know, backwards. Because sometimes the things that you do, and I'm sure you came across, like, personally, your own journey, you probably looked at it, you was like, it doesn't make sense what I'm doing, you know, but it all kind of adds up at the end, you know. So I decided when I was a little bit younger, when I started doing these businesses, network, you know, multi-level marketing and brokering, I was like, I will fail as much as I can. I will do whatever, because all that I knew, like, failing equals you moving forward, you learning. Well, of course, again, you have to have the coach. And I can tell enough, like, how coach could be valuable for you and for your business, and it's going to shorten the time frame. Because in this life, in this business, whatever business you're at, you need to shorten the time frame. I left Lithuania because Lithuania is the way the economy is put together, the way everything is structured. It will take probably 30, 40 years for somebody to become successful, because there's just so many resources available. If you're going to move to Ireland, it's going to be probably 20 years. If you're going to move to the US, maybe 2 years.
So when are you moving to the US? That's the question.
That's the question. We need to come in and visit at the first place, because we've never been. That's on a to-do list for with us. You know, we're gonna do that with wife at some time in the near future, hopefully.
Make sure I come to Vegas. I would love to meet you and your lovely wife when you're here. So yeah, absolutely.
There you go.
Yeah, that's cool though. I love the way you talk about stuff, and I love the passion that you have. And you have such a really interesting story, right? You to finish up in Ireland. What brought you to Ireland, you think, of all places? How did you go from Lithuania to Ireland? Because you could have gone anywhere, mainland Europe. You could have gone to...
Yeah, well, the answer is pretty simple, because my family was here already.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. So I kind of followed and was like, because I lived in UK before again, and you know, like one of the like, because everybody like what's happening right now with the industry, and I was kind of doing that prior before, because now people are they don't look to live in a house and you know like live in a place, so they go and rent. It's like US is becoming a renters nation. So when I got the phone call, and I was living in UK at that time, and I was probably lived there for almost 4 years. So when I got the phone call from my mom, and she was like, everybody buys property right now, you should buy an apartment. And like stupid me, somehow God's, you know, some information came to me that was like, that's kind of stupid, you know, because everybody buy it. And like, I don't want to get stuck in one place. I don't know where that came from, but that was kind of, you know, in me already. So I knew like the buying my own house and staying in one place is not going to be for me. So I'm very happy that I didn't make that decision and didn't buy anything. And that was actually before the 2008. So saved myself.
That would have been bad timing, I guess. Yeah. It's funny how you look at things. I actually had the opposite problem. My mum told me probably 20 years ago now. We a little bit of a funny, interesting story. When I used to work for my dad as a carpenter, we pulled together and bought lottery tickets. So one year we got the bonus ball number, and we all won like £20,000 each, which was pretty nice.
Wow.
My mum was trying to tell me, hey, just buy this property. She knew nothing about real estate, but she was like, hey, buy this property. You can buy this property for $60,000, and then you can either rent it out or live in it yourself, put that $20,000 down. I was like, no, I don't want real estate. This was, you know, looking back now, it's crazy because I'm all about real estate now. I love real estate now. But looking back, I wish I would have bought that, because that property is probably worth $180,000, $200,000 now, you know. And if nothing else, it would have started me on that process a lot sooner. But it's funny how, you know, stuff doesn't reach you at the right time, right? You had no interest. Truthfully, that money, I probably peed that money up against the wall. I probably drank it somewhere in a pub somewhere.
Look, there's a lot of us who's watching this episode right now, and look, I'm like, we cannot blame ourselves, because I had this call just a day ago, and we're going to be coming up with an episode on beating alpha. Shameless plug, because that's what you have to do when you come on somebody else's show.
Great show.
Lesson number one: don't be afraid of pitching your show in. But the guy is phenomenal. Again, so much information, and he said like you should give credit to yourself, you know, for the things that you do. It's just not for me. The people who are watching, you should give credit to yourself for whatever you do. Because what I wanted to say, you don't know what you don't know. So again, like where you've been at that place, you was like, man, I got the money. But now when you look back and you connect all these dots, as I said, it looks like, oh my God, it's a common sense. But again, so I'm just looking, the question is, in the position that we are right now, how many dots and how many connections we are missing right now? Like the things that are going on around us, like how much more can we actually do than we're doing right now? Because when we're going to look back, we'll be like, oh my God. So that's the question. And that's what I'm always asking myself, like, what else am I missing? What else am I not seeing right now? Because I'm sure, because I have a limited knowledge, limited experience, and there is, you know, people with 70 plus years experience in different things, and they still not seeing the things that are, you know, that are happening.
Yeah.
So it's very tough to kind of, you know, but again, you're trying to squeeze as much as possible from this life to get the juices, you know, but it's funny.
That's true. You don't know what you don't know, right? You don't always realize what's going on. You mentioned it there, your YouTube channel / podcast, right? I know from experience, I was on your show last week. It's a fantastic show. I've watched a few episodes and I really enjoy it. So you do a really good job with that. But more interestingly to me is the amount of interviews you do, right? I think that day I was like 5th or 6th or 7th in line, you know, and all these interviews are an hour ago. So maybe tell us a little bit about your show. Shameless plug, nothing wrong with that. But also on top of that, what made you start it? Or what made you focus on you mostly speak to people in the US, right? Would that be correct? What made you focus on that?
Yeah, majority of the people, I would say, probably 90% or more.
Yeah. So maybe I speak to that. Yeah, why you started and then how you ended up interviewing people from the US.
Simple answer, because I wasn't born famous.
And you want to be famous?
You have to be. Look, like in this day and age, you know yourself. It is the people, again, you are a little bit of famous person. Because I remember I told you are on Wikipedia. Once you're on Wikipedia, you are famous. You got the status, right? So look, but the thing is like if you never born famous, you're not famous. You have to be, because in your business, in different business, the people that you know is very important, but at the same time is who knows you. So, you know, like, so it's something that you should do. It's not a question like, do I need to do this? I mean, we're living in the digital age. I mean, the age of work in factories and, you know, like all these, you know, it's over. It is the digital age. So we should follow the trend and maybe sometimes to look, you know, what's happening in the future and kind of peek behind the curtains. And, you know, that's what we're supposed to do. If people still, you know, asking questions like, should I have a podcast? I mean, you kind of late, you know, like you're a little bit behind, you know, because if you want to do something great in life, you should have a podcast. And for simple reasons, because again, the people that you want to reach, try somebody and call somebody right now. Try and call, let's say Barry right now, and ask him, Barry, can you have all these questions and how hard is it going to be? I'm sure time right now. But if you ask Barry, listen, I would love to have you on the show. Again, we're going to be providing great value for the listeners. And at the same time, I just would love to meet you because you're a super great guy, you know? So that's like, there's a lot of things happening. You having the person on the show, because who doesn't like to be interviewed? You can talk with them, meet with them, build a relationship. You're going to be providing tremendous value to the people. And I'm like, you know, whatever you're doing, like with the podcast, because I spoke with the people who do the podcast episodes, like, and you know, the format, the way it goes. I mean, there are some questions. Of course, you have the questions. The way that people, as you say, like, and that's where I don't give myself enough credit, same as the guy said, like, oh, your show is phenomenal. And I'm like, whatever, you know, because there's a different level. I mean, English is not my first language. So there's you know, there's one thing to improve. Again, the format of the show, like the quality of the show, there's different things that I can improve. So I wouldn't like, just take it, just say thank you. I was like, okay, thank you. But you know, like, it's something that everybody should do. Because I mean, how easy right now during these times is to reach people. I mean, it's unbelievable, you know, so everybody would like to kind of provide the value, and, you know, everybody's happy to jump on the show, and why not, you know, because like personally, if for me, the goal, again, it has to tie in all the goals, like nothing that I do is without reason, you know? So one of the reasons, because again, we want to go to the States, and I know that's where the opportunities are, like Ola Dantes. You know, plug again, Ola, you're welcome. He's a great guest. His episode is going to be coming in, but I asked him the question. I said, listen, because he's from UK originally. And now he lives in the States for probably, I think he said like 3-4 years. Great guy, super great guy. Very humble, you know, looking to help people, like, honestly, like, you know, it's coming out through his ears, same as you. And I asked the guy, would you be successful? Because you're from UK too. Would you be successful in UK, you know, during all this time, what you did? But no, you know, like you're right now in the States. Would you be the same successful? He said no, because you know yourself, like there's something, you know, in the US that is different from the rest of the world, the rest of the countries, kind of, you know, opportunities and everything. So, you know, I'm slowly but surely positioning myself to those type of markets, you know, like kind of looking in the future, because all the views that I have in business and life, everything is very long term. Like, of course, you kind of have the short-term vision, short-term goals that you want to accomplish, how many episodes, the sales, the targets, what you want to do with that business, that project, but everything is long-term. So that's why I want to do the show. You know, at this first and foremost reason is to provide the value, because especially during these times where there's a lot of people being clueless and lost and dumb, just like I was before. I think I still am, you know, I'm figuring things out. I'm not like, I'm not, you know, I'm just a simple, regular guy, you know, and that's who I am. But I'm just looking to be transparent and look, you can learn the same, you can do the same, and you can do far more, because there's already people who do more, but you just lack the information and the knowledge, whatever that might be, you know? And that's why I wanted to have people just like yourself on the show, so they can share their own personal journey. Well, you know, they will be like, okay, so I can relate to those people. They've been going through the same stuff, kind of the comments, you know, and at the same time, they can learn from the lessons, which is like what not to do, and the things that they can do the same. So yeah, just provide the value, you know, because again, we are put here on this planet for some reasons. And I don't know, like I'm still uncovering the reasons why I'm here. But one of the reasons is to help other people, but be like, you know, like really say it instead of, oh, I'm here, you know, like limited partners, blah, blah, blah. just another show. No, let people know, because that's what's going to make you different. You really have to care. And like when I'm on a show, when you're on a show, you're like nobody else is happening. Shooting, fire, I don't care. Barry's is here. Barry's the most important thing. Because it is. Look, because sometimes, like what this guy told me, just going back to the basics. Because nobody says, oh, thank you so much, like you're such a great, everybody kind of, because everything is very fast. So we kind of, oh, another episode, we just go through the numbers. So for me, the guest on the show is not a number. He's a person. And I'm like, every time I say, let's make another show, let's make another episode, how can I help you? Not just providing the service, maybe there's some other way, maybe we can do something, because that's important. Because look, we're all on this planet. Like if we want to solve our problems, we should help each other out at some point, and maybe we're going to find something there,
Yeah. And I love your passion. I love your passion. It's awesome, man. It definitely shines through, as you can kind of see how you're passionate about what you do and everything in your life. I love it, man. And everything has a goal, right? Everything has a purpose and a reason for it. I love that. And it's like you said as well with this, YouTube channel. Like I think you said it when you were interviewing me. We're selfish, right? We do this kind of to provide value, but we get to do it because for one, we get to talk to great people, right? Like I wouldn't have spoken to you, right? Probably wouldn't have connected if it wasn't for my show and your show, which is awesome. I'm so happy that we did, right? We're having some great conversations on your show and this one. But also you get to ask the questions that you want, right? I always thought that when I listen to a podcast, yes, I listen to tons of great podcasts, but there's always times in those podcasts when someone will say something and I wish they asked another question relating to that. And I was like, oh. And then when I was like, okay, I'm going to start my own, because you want to get yourself out there, like you said, you want to make yourself famous and make yourself well known, and you want to seem like a thought leader in whatever field you're in. But also I can ask my questions, right? When someone says something interesting and I'm interested more about what that person says, I can ask them that. And I think that's, like you said it perfectly. We're selfish, right? We want to ask our own questions.
I mean, it's fine. You want to participate, like you want to stay on the sidelines maybe at some point, because that's what I did for quite a long time. When I started kind of this first multi-level network, marketing business, and I was kind of sitting on the sidelines, just absorbing and consuming the content from other podcasts. But at some point, you definitely should have it, and as soon as possible, because again, there are a lot of great people, I'm sure, who are like part of your audience or my audience that are watching and probably have a better, kind of language that I do, or better approach, better kind of more charismatic personality, or better, skills to do the podcast or whatever that might be. So why waste that, and how are you going to uncover if you have it or not, if you never use it, if you don't try it?
Well, I think that's an interesting topic in itself. And I think maybe you could speak to that. Is like, I'm sure there's people out there who just like you said, who want to start a podcast or want to start a YouTube, and they're like, I don't like the way I talk. I don't sound smart enough. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not good at editing. There's all these excuses to some extent, and that's what they are, right? Or limiting beliefs. You could call them limiting beliefs as well. Mm-hmm. Maybe speak to that though, to someone who wants to start out and they're worried about all these things.
Well, I think they should buy Nike shoes and put them in front of them, because that will give a reminder. Just do it,
That's just
do it.
Yeah.
Just do it. Wear the shoes or put them in front of you when you're doing a podcast. Because you just have to do it. If you're waiting for the perfect moment, whatever that is in your mind, it's not going to happen. I mean, life doesn't work that way. Nothing is aligning for you in a perfect moment, and the sun and the planets, and it's not the reality. I mean, you just have to start somewhere and someday, and why not today? That's the question. Because how are you going to learn? Like, just read a few books. That's all it takes. Because I've seen a pattern of people through network marketing business, or just people in general who are, they're looking to have a business. And there's a lot of people right now who are looking to have a business, and they just absorb, like what I said, sitting on the sidelines, consuming the content, reading a ton of books. Super smart, probably can talk smarter than both of us, combined, can, like, big words, but they have zero, like they're not doing anything that to help other people, because that's what the business initially is. You need to solve somebody's problem. And how are you going to do that if you didn't start to solve your own personal problems? So, you have to do something. I mean, that, people telling me like, oh, the name and, like the look, it's all doesn't matter. Like the name, the Beating Alpha, it's, I changed we changed our YouTube channel 3 times. First, it was the Money Show. That was the Real Social Estate. And now it's the Beating Alpha, which is going to stay until I'm going to pass it on probably next generation. Or I don't know where is it going to go. Yeah. YouTube dumb place, or if it exists. But it's going to be there. Like the episodes are going to be there. The people who are going to consume the information, these people are going to be there, because what's happening in social media industry, like the TV that we used to watch is just became a radio, which is kind of background noise. And, people, I'm sure they do that when they, walk into the house and they kind of, do the vacuuming or just doing something. It just plays in the background. That's all it is. And probably people don't even watch that anymore and don't even listen to that anymore, because most of the time it's just BS that's playing in the background. So they'd rather play, Alexa, Amazon, play me an audio book on something. So that will be kind of the answer, just doing, and just learning the tricks and the trades, and, just taking action. And, that will be kind of the answer, for the people who say, oh, it's that. And, and of course, look, just learn from the great people. Look at what the Joe Rogan is doing, just because that's how you can duplicate success. Just observe people and watch them and duplicate, take notes. Sounds too much? Well, sorry. I mean, that's what it takes. Yeah. It's like if you think start a podcast, a YouTube channel is hard. I mean, sorry, I cannot help these people. I mean, what else you can do in life? I mean, if you cannot do that, I mean,
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's, unfortunately, people tell themselves stories, I think, right? I don't speak to it. I don't like the sound of my voice. Well, I don't know many people, to be honest with you. I know I hate the sound of my own voice, right? But what am I going to do? Am I going to let that stop me? And in your head as well, I think that this is what I noticed as well. We create something that's much worse in our head than the reality, right? When, say, people be like, oh, if I, when I'm on the YouTube, people are going to hate my voice. I'm going to sound stupid, or I don't sound educated, and who's going to watch me? Whereas people watching will be like, oh, this guy's cool. I like this guy. He sounds good. I like his accent. All right. He knows what he's talking about. He's got charisma. Or like, oh my God, this guy's got a YouTube channel. How cool. Like, I wish I had a YouTube channel, right? But in our head, we think of the negative instead of thinking of the positive, right? And I think that helps. It's a program. It's a mindset thing. And I love that stuff, but it's thinking positive, right? It's like, I was talking to someone the other day and they were saying, like, when someone runs, right, they're so worried about, oh, do I look stupid when I run? Does my left leg look silly does my outfit look bad? Is my hair bad? Oh, am I going fast enough? Are these people judging me, right? Whereas that's what they're thinking when they're running. Yeah. But 99.9% of people who watch a person run are thinking, God, that person's running good. That person's running today. I feel so lazy now. I wish I was running. I wish I had that commitment. I wish I had that outfit that person has. Oh, you know what I mean? They're running so fast. They're doing so great, and we always go to the negative, right? I don't know why it is.
But look, Barry, sorry for interrupting. Again, like, I just want people to understand. And again, like, it is a fact. At least it's a fact for me. And the way I operate and the way I look at things, like, I'm not the most positive person in a room. Like this is just the truth. And the way that you can operate is, look, if that puts you off, that's fine. You can watch, then you're going to see me smiling all the time. It doesn't mean that I'm like, look, what I'm trying to say, if you're looking to start a podcast and you're waiting for this kind of positivity, the good energy to come in so we can, yes, I'm ready now. I'm just going to jump in and I'm going to have a blast. And like, it's not going to last. At some point, you will be like, oh my God, like, I have another episode. Like, I'm tired. I want to quit. So what you're going to do that moment? I mean, what's going to happen? You will be like, you're going to quit because you're still waiting for the good, energy, for the inspiration. I need to watch another. Look, you can work on negative energy a lot too. You can say, F this. I hate what I'm doing. I hate my life. I hate the things. I hate the economy. I hate everything. I'm going to do this because of that, because I hate everything what's happening in my life. And use that negative energy. Don't waste it. It's a good energy.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a very good point, right? Whatever you don't like in your life, you can focus on that and use that to drive you, right? It just like that now. It doesn't have to be like that. So I think that's great. I love all the mindset stuff. It's so interesting to me. It's really, really interesting to me. So, but you mentioned it a few times in the interview. Yeah, it's key. Yeah, absolutely. Is that what you're focused on now, which is, you know, obviously your YouTube channel and your podcast and doing the interviews, but also the digital marketing side of stuff, right? The social, and you guys, I think, focus mostly on social media, right? So talk a little bit about that, your friends said, hey, you should start this business and you should focus on real estate. How did you start that? How did you go from zero to maybe where you are today?
So yeah, everybody starts with the zero, and everybody starts figuring things out, and that's what it was in the beginning. I was just trying to figure things out, and the mistakes that I did, again, putting the dots together, I'm like, man, you know, I wasted so much time. But again, I was very grateful to have Greg, my coach at that time in my life, which he helped tremendously. Of course, with finding kind of the first clients, and he was grateful to recommend me to some, you know, big players in the game, and I was like, you know. So that kind of made my business to scale faster. But at the same time, I was learning a lot, you know, because I was by myself. I remember I had all these clients, and that's how we started. I was like working from home, and it was tough because my service model, and I came up with that because I was like, man, I want to provide kind of turnkey solution for the real estate businesses. Because through like doing these interviews, as far as like as many episodes that I had at the time, I was like, man, these people are busy. They don't have the time. And I was like, I need to provide them something that will kind of free up the time because they have to focus on a deal flow or raising the capital or whatever that might be, family. And I was like, okay, what I can do? So I need to create something that will be kind of turnkey for 7 days a week. So imagine having multiple clients at the same time and working 7 days a week. So I did that probably for 4 months, probably more. Which was, again, it was probably too much on my wife. Again, the money was there, but look, there is no time to spend it. And of course I was putting the money, and then we got an office, we got people in office. So, you know, but I made those decisions a little bit later, but through that time, it was super tough. Again, you learn a lot about yourself. And now every time I came across some people and they're like, oh my God, like it was tough 5 days and it's like 25 hours of work, you know, like part-time. Oh my God, like it's sad, you know, because at that time, like those 4 or 5 months, I still was making the time for the gym, for myself, for the wife. We were still going out. And I was like, man, and there was multiple, like I used to wake up 7 in the morning and go to sleep probably 1 p.m. And that's how we operate like for 4 or 5 months. And there was no plot. Look, I'm still here.
Yeah.
I mean, just the capabilities of human being. I mean, you can do so much, but sometimes we're scared. We're like, oh, I'm going to burn out. Like, you're not going to burn out. Like, how do you know? You know, because these all like type of, you know, things. And I don't know who came up with those type of things, you know, you're going to burn out. Like, you know, like you're not a candle. You're a human being with unlimited potential of energy, you know, like, so what's going to happen? But when you need to have a big goals. And that's what I had. I was like, I need to scale the business. And that's what we did. Then we went to the office. I got some people in place, and that was a good experience, again, hiring people. So I asked my mentor, Greg, I was like, how do you hire people? What's that process? So that was another process that was very interesting to kind of learning, you know, to hire people, train people, how do you problem solve? And again, you know, just the entire onboarding process. And of course, there were a lot of issues with people, and I had to, you know, as they say, hire slow, fire fast, but I used to do the opposite. You know, so it's just a lot of mistakes and stupid stuff, you know, that you know, I think everybody kind of, when they look back, they said I shouldn't do it, but look, it's a learning curve. But yeah, at the end of the day, what we do right now, it still provides same style of a service. So we basically manage 7 platforms, which is the Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, podcast, and we do the blog posting. So we do a lot of content when it comes to the day. And again, we're coming back just to the reason, because I spoke with syndicators, multifamily people, wholesalers. They buy hotels, developers, states, Europe, where my wife is from, Georgia. There's a lot of development was going on there at the time. And I was meeting a lot of people, going doing presentations with the people, you know, billionaires from Russia who building the skyscraper. So there's a lot of stuff, you know, that I can talk about, but fun times. But, you know, I said to them, look, before the 2020 is going to happen, everybody was kind of talking about the upcoming recession. Look, you need to focus your efforts and put a lot of money, well, not even into us. And, you know, you need to start promoting and marketing yourself on social media. Because I said, when the recession is going to happen, what's going to happen? How are the people going to react to those type of things as it happened in 2008? Some people will stop spending money. Of course, people will not go to the fancy restaurants maybe anymore. And I'm talking about kind of average type of people. Maybe the people that still can invest, like accredited investors, they still can invest, but they will start looking at the things differently. Maybe because what's happening in the economy, that's kind of, hurts their business at that time. So they will be very careful where you're going to allocate the capital and the time to, right? So you need to position yourself as a leader in the market, and how are you going to do that during a digital age? You need to be on social media. It's kind of no-brainer common sense, right? So I was telling that before because everybody was expecting the economy apps, but the COVID happened, which is a completely it 10x'd the entire recession part, and everybody's now at home. They're watching the TV, but as you remember, the TV became the radio, which nobody even watches anymore. Everybody sits on the phones, and that's how you can reach those people. Whatever that might be, you're looking for investors, and that works for every business. Of course, we work with real estate investors only, multifamily, wholesaling, flipping, syndicators, developers, whatever you think of in a real estate space. But that could apply for every business, and it does apply for every business. You need to be diversified, and that's what the rich people do. You need to be diversified across different mediums with the right message, of course, because the content, the frequency of the content, the way you put out, the way it looks, the hashtag count, the tag count, do you upload it, the raw file, is it in the comment section, is it not, all those things, it does matter, because there's different algorithms for different platforms. But at the same time, the core thing is the message, because that's one thing that people will take away. I mean, the content can look phenomenal. I mean, everything on point, it's super professional. But once you're going to click that on that thumbnail, or once you're going to start watching this Instagram post, you will be like, something about that puts me down, it puts me off. So that's very important, so the key message and what you're looking to share with people. So, just adding value, that's kind of, famous thing, famous word, sentence that floats around in a multifamily space or just real estate space, just add value, add value. So, but what does it actually mean? You have to look from the eyes of the people that are going to be investing in your deals. So that message have to be crafted to those people. So, just when I was talking with the developers, the mistake that I saw that what they was making, they were talking about look, this is the apartment, kind of square meters, square footage, and the building, the construction, you can see the cranes. I was like, look, if I'm a buyer, I don't care, the cement and the floor, it's not my deal. Why should I live in that apartment? And what's good about the area? What's attractive about the city, about this particular location, the amenities, the story, what's I want to see more because I'm going to be living in with my family, So what are we going to do after work once we're going to be free at the weekend? Just again, so coming back to the messages, instead of showing what everybody else is showing and doing, sometimes you have to kind of look and, okay, I need to do something different. So that applies for multifamily, syndicators too, because there's a lot of people, particularly on a podcast piece. And I think I was kind of the first people that started talking about that approach. And it was whatever you see on podcasts, you see these long episodes, and of course, this one is going to be one of those long episodes. So it's you see 1.5 hour episode, and it's titled, how to use social media marketing during the COVID, or whatever the title might be. And it's going to be 1.5 hour. The introduction, it was 2 minutes because it's a short bio, right? Maybe there's going to be some music, but it's going to be 3-4 minutes intro, right? And that's a problem, because coming back to the human psychology and the way we operate, look, I think it's been long ago since I read it that the human, attention span is shorter than the goldfish's. So we're in trouble here. I mean, if it's a 4 minutes intro, we're going to be losing a lot of people. And at the same time, we need to have that piece. But what we need to do, we need to have the short segments. So if you ask me the question, what do you think about social, whether Instagram, posting frequency, all of that, 5 tips for Instagram. That's the piece, which is going to be whatever, how long is it going to take for me to answer that question? 3, 4, 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be the title, and that's going to be the piece for people to consume. And they will find that on your podcast, on your YouTube, because you have to diversify. And it has to be on Instagram and on Facebook and on LinkedIn and on Twitter. because it has to be all over the place, and it has to be very direct to the people. So it doesn't have to be about Instagram. It could be talking to limited partners that you're looking to reach, because they want to get the right answer. But again, we're coming back, oh my God, it's a lot of work. If it's 1.5 hours, how I'm going to cut that all episodes and re-upload them, like, oh my God, I'm getting lost in all of this, because it is a lot of work. And imagine me like coming back to like 4 or 5 months doing that at home by myself. So that was tough. But that's my passion. I learned a lot. I made mistakes. I learned a lot, but that's what people should be doing. So again, that's the message for real estate industry. You need to produce more than you think that you're currently producing. And the message is very important, because there's a lot of people in multifamily space, syndication space, construction space. If you're selling something, if that's an apartment building, let's say it's a multifamily, you're raising capital, there's a lot of different syndicators who are kind of offering the same returns, 8% cash and cash a year, 15% IRR, 3x multiple after 5 years exit. So kind of same terms, but what's going to make you different? Like, what's the core message? What is going to make you different? Because look, there's a lot of foreign capital flowing to the States, and yourself again. So how are you going to capture those people's attention? Well, you never left the US before, and you don't know how to speak with those people, because these people, again, as far as my coach, I remember he said, Martin, American people are a little bit different. They take longer times and they need to think about. And I was like, because I didn't understand that, because I'm like, we need to go, we need to be places. And he was like, you need to be patient. So those people in different countries are different. So how are you going to reach them with a message that you're providing to American people? Again, I'm not taking sides here, but look, you have to have, if it's like long-term, it has to be in-house marketing team that has to be full-time, because that's the way it's going to go. Like the social media, the marketing is not going to go away. Like it's going to stay here for a very long time. And then the sooner you start, because our service is just to give you the head start. It's for the people who don't have the social media, or we had the clients who had a social media, who had 2,000 episodes, and they just want kind of, okay, you guys do it, and we want on all the platforms. We don't want to do anything with that. We need the shorts episodes because I like the way you do that. So, so that's that. And we can maximize, kind of do more and blow up the existing network and to reach more people. But for the people who don't have anything, like you cannot hire the in-house marketing team, that's what we provide, that solution for the marketing.
Very cool, very cool. Yeah, there's so much interesting stuff. And the digital marketing, like you said, it's not going away. If anything, it's going to get bigger and bigger, right? Especially, as you said, the pandemic has supercharged that, right? Everyone's at home, for the most part. Like, what are you going to do when you're at home, right? Sometimes you watch TV, but a lot of times, a lot of us are on the phones, right? And we're on the phones more than we ever were in history before. And so if you can reach people through your phone, right, that's just the key there. I think more than anything else, you want to be able to get in front of people. I mean, the phone is the perfect way. You talked about all those platforms that they're there, but and that's just going to go. There's going to go bigger. I imagine there's only going to be even more platforms, right? I'm sure people are working on all kinds of different platforms.
TikTok. Right? Now TikTok is coming. There's a lot of, I see the syndicators all the time doing the TikTok, so it's fun.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to get my wife. She's a real estate agent to use TikTok. She's one of those people that's fighting the fight against using social media. She's shy and blah, blah. I'm like, well, you like TikTok, at least use TikTok. And I'm losing that battle as well, but hopefully I might have to send it to you or something like that.
No, it will come a time, because everybody will understand. Like you will get your, again, as I said, the way we operate, you will get your back. The problems will come in. Yeah. And if you're not going to take action and just be uncomfortable while doing that, I mean, being on podcast is super uncomfortable, like changing places, because I've been on multiple shows before, taking this approach. But like when you have people on, you kind of, like you're the cool guy, it's easy to ask a question and you kind of, like what you're going to say, Yeah. But when you're on this side and you kind of, so that's uncomfortable. But like, it's not what I'm thinking right now at this moment. I'm thinking what I can provide for the listeners who are going to be watching this episode. Like how much value can I put out, So if you focus on that instead of, oh my God, it makes me uncomfortable, it will work out.
Yeah. What are, as we touched on, so what are the main mistakes that you see people make in terms of digital marketing and social media, right? You touched on one is maybe not having a message, but what are some other mistakes without, obviously people want to use you as a company. So I'm not saying give away all your tricks and your tips, but, some mistakes that you see people doing all the time.
Yeah. Well, I would say up front, there is no tricks and there is no when we talk with you and I kind of said, Barry, like, do you need my service? Because I can remember the way I said it? If you need some advice, and I think the message is still there. If you need any advice, I can give you that. And that's what I do. Like, I'm having so many service calls with the people in multifamily and construction companies. I know they're not going to be my clients. And for what reason I'm doing that? Because I'm just providing them a service. Look, I can spare half an hour, 40 minutes with somebody who's having, $200 million company and been for, years and years in business. I can help them with a few more kind of, as people say, tricks and strategies, which is not a trick. Of course, those people don't understand what they need to do because that's not their deal. They're real estate developers or investors or syndicators or house flippers, and social media is not their thing. And that's one of the reasons why people hire companies just like myself or somebody else. But it's just like they're looking for those tips, which is very simple. It's not like people think like, oh my God, social media is just like magical place. Of course, there is a few strategies that you need to use and be aware of when it comes to, posting the hashtag count, like how many hashtags you should use in an Instagram post. That it's supposed to, it should be maximum 30. It should not be over 1 million when it comes to the hashtag. So let's say if it's a hashtag real estate investing, if it's over 1 million, you should not use it. So maximum the million, and it should be like 50K, 100 to 200K, 300 to 500K, 500 to 700K, and to the million maximum. So like people don't know those type of things, because that's not the things that they do. And we have to know those things, but I'm looking here to provide the value, and that's what you do, like you just jump on a call and you do that. But the most problems that people have is just like with the basic stuff. Because people ask me all the time, like when I do the interviews, is like, what are people struggling with? It's just like the basic stuff is like the name of the, podcast, like how we're going to start, because I do understand, like for me, it's like, my God, it's so easy, because we do that. If I will go in the real estate space, I would look down. People, if I would start investing or doing development, people would be like, man, you don't know what you're talking about. And it's so easy how you don't get it. So it's like, if you just change places, it will be that. But it's just the basic stuff, the name, how many times do I post, what message do I put out, like how many times do I post, is there a time for me to post? So those type of questions, but overall is pretty simple once you start then, talking with these people and explaining what it's all about.
Yeah. I think, so, with real estate investors, it's a special niche, right? It's not like, whatever you're doing, it all has its own personal thing to it, right? Whatever if you're doing makeup tutorials or you're doing, I don't know, gaming videos or something like that, right? But in terms of real estate, how do you like people to use YouTube, for example? I think YouTube is kind of a search engine these days, right? It's not like more used than Google almost, I think, right? It's YouTube as a search engine. How do you like real estate investors to use that? What advice do you give them usually on YouTube and how to use it?
First of all, when it comes to YouTube, again, tremendous leverage that you can get from YouTube, again, by being on somebody else's podcast. Sim is doing right now, because I do understand these things are happening. I'm on your show right now. I don't know your network. I don't know your people. I don't know who's your audience, but I'm getting some of that audience's attention right now. Who's going to convert into my audience or vice versa? Like you've been on my show. So those people are going to be coming into your audience, and probably I'm going to lose some people, some subscribers, which is fine, because they will dig you more because of the past things that you did. So that's one of the things, being on somebody else's podcast. But the key message is you see that happening all the time, like the approach that you're doing currently, like you having guests on the show, but it should be equally divided. And of course, it depends on the message that you looking to put out. Like there are some people who've been in a game very long time, and all they have is just people on their show, which is like the question that are raised. Do you want to talk about what's happening in your business? Because it makes you to look good. You look good. You have all these, 100, 200, 500 shows, but it's all about the guest, which is very important. But look, at some point, like you're going to attract people attention, limited partner, potential investors, but it could be much more if you would divide the efforts into, I'm having people on and I'm going to be producing my own personal content. Whatever that means, just being on a phone in front of the people, again, uncomfortable, or being on somebody else's podcast and using that as their platform to attract attention, to attract, potential investors. So just diversifying your efforts, that's one of the things when it comes to the YouTube, because people just have the guests on and just, number one, number two. So you need to use YouTube as your own platform to put out your own message and have other people's on to use their experience, because it's a great way, yourself, like YouTube, you can leverage other people who have tremendous experience. Again, like you have a tremendous experience, since we spoke about last time about that. But it's like for somebody who's starting, if you can leverage those people and you're going to look as an expert. That's pretty much it. That's the quickest way for you to get exposed into the existing network. You will be like, oh my God, he's on a James's podcast, and James has all these hundreds of thousands of guests, and he's been on YouTube since like 2000, whatever. So you will get, so that's a tremendous amount of leverage that you're going to get. So doing that and just putting out your own personal message, which is, of course, as I said, it's very uncomfortable.
Yeah,
but it has to be done.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. What's that saying? You got to be comfortable being uncomfortable, right? Because that's where all the is in that uncomfortableness.
Exactly. Yep.
Cool. Well, this has been a fun interview, man. I've really enjoyed this interview. But I always ask people some wrestling-related questions. Now, today I'm going to change it a little bit. It's going to apply more to your business than to real estate. But let's have a little bit of fun, I guess. So the first question I like to ask people is, what would your wrestling name be? If you had to come up with a wrestling name for yourself, what would it be?
Probably what I said in the beginning, probably something related to like Rocket Man or something. That's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. And probably just flying above, and just that will be it. Because you just have to sometimes just get some altitude and kind of understand what's happening in the world and just, get focused on things that matter.
Cool. Rocket Man. Every wrestler has a special move or a signature move. What is your special move or your strength in your business? What is your biggest strength? Is it networking? Is it hiring? Is it talking to people?
Probably some people would say like networking, or you can talk. When people say that, which is pretty ridiculous to me, like with the broken English. But I would say just being free, because like the things that I do in life, they kind of, even though they're stressful, just learning how to be free,
Yeah, very cool. What's been the biggest body slam you've taken in your business over the years? So what are some of the biggest things that have gone wrong?
Gone wrong. Okay. So that was kind of mistake that I made, that we made. And I think, that was the time when I was working from home. So long story short, of course, I'm not going to talk about the client, but that was kind of hit, because that was the New Year's Eve. That was the New Year Day. And I was like, just looking to get like, I'm working New Year's Day, Christmas, I'm working, like, I didn't send the email saying, and of course, I'm not complaining here or something. Again, I'm not saying names, but I'm just giving a lesson here for the people, because those things happen in life. But look, life continues and we're still here. So providing the service like New Year's Eve, and like made some mistakes, copied some basically, content, which is like, again, something it's not supposed to be done. And it was kind of word to word. So again, my mistake, yes. And I remember we received this email saying like New Year's Eve is like that's it, like we finished with you. Like New Year's Eve, that was like 2 hours before the New Year. I remember we were sitting with wife, we was writing our goals for the New Year, and I was like, Jesus. And that was the biggest client that we have, and we've been in relationship for him quite a while. When he asked any additional type of tasks, look, no problem, done, And when that happened, there was like, oh my God, like life, just shook you a little bit. But you understand, like, I do agree, like, look, and that's what we like go through. Because again, we're not perfect. I'm not going to pretend here like never made a mistake. Look, like, yes, we lost the client, because of that happened, and of course there was my personal mistake because I was stupid and dumb. Like because I was trying to save the time, whatever that means, by providing content on a New Year's Day, 2 hours before, still putting out content, and I made a mistake. So that was kind of it. Yeah.
Right, yeah. And you live and you learn, right? That's the only way to do it.
Yeah.
So was there a moment that you were standing on the top rope getting ready to jump, but you were too scared? What was it, and how did you overcome it? Was there a moment?
I need to give you shorter answers because it's getting too long probably.
No. It's perfect. It's perfect.
Yeah. So a lot of moments. Probably every time I'm looking to start something new, like you know, like before it was probably with marketing. I was waiting for quite a while to kind of start prospecting people and talking with people because that was very uncomfortable. Coming up to somebody that you don't know, I mean, picking the phone, hello, my name is, like offering something, let's meet up, and you know, that was very uncomfortable. So I was waiting on that for quite a while, and I should have made a jump earlier.
How did you overcome it? You just eventually took action.
How did I overcome it?
Yeah.
Of course, so mentorship. Yeah, some people it was just like, okay, take your time, which is like, okay, you're taking too long of a time, you know. So that was there. So the people, the key, you know, as a business, it was the people, and those people, the support, tremendous. Like some people that I'm not working with those people anymore because again, I have my own business now and doing all the projects, but tremendous amount of support from these people. I mean, expect nothing in return, but it's just incredible. So, you know, Eugenijus, Svetlana, again, these are kind of Lithuanian names. So if these people are watching, I don't know, but just a tremendous, like, thank you to those people. Just support. That's all it took.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, man, this has been fun. It's not quite the hour and a half that you were expecting. I think we're about 45, 50 minutes in, but it's been a great interview, man. I really enjoy your story, and I really enjoy your energy and the way you look at things, and the way you're attacking stuff. I like that a lot. You attack stuff, right? You don't just, you kind of said that you waited, but you're attacking stuff, I feel like, and you're making big moves. So I'm excited to see what's coming next for you. I'm sure big things. Before we go, where can people get a hold of you and find out more about what you're up to now?
Well, of course, the social media. So, if you just type in my name in Google, if nothing will come up, don't even bother contact me because I'm making a poor job marketing myself.
It's like Grant Cardone, right? Love him or hate him. One of his favorite sayings I have that he says is, someone says, I don't know who you are. He says, oh, my bad, that's my fault.
That's my fault, exactly.
That he hasn't done a good enough job of marketing himself. I love it.
Yeah. It's the same, exactly. Same message. Yeah, because, I mean, if you're not going to find me, of course, Martynas Fedotovas on just Google or Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, whatever way you want to connect and kind of ask me any questions about the social media. It doesn't have to be that. I would love, if you're working on something, you have something going on in real estate business, you may be trading stocks, you're a business coach, or, you're in hedge fund industry, which is very awesome. Looking to have those people on also. Definitely would love to have you on as a guest. Cool.
Well, thank you so much, man, for making the time, and really enjoyed this interview. And it's late there now, man. Wow. I just realized what time is it there? 1 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, almost. 1:10. Yeah, 1 a.m. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, man. Get to bed.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
Oh, absolutely.